Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit responds to their loss in an appropriate fashion, taking care of business against Chicago.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. I'm a podcast producer for the daily JAWWJ News Radio podcast. Well, Scotty's the host over at Locked On Tigers, as well as a freelance journalist for the Detroit News. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. And on today's episode, guys, Scotty and I are going to obviously break down a dominant 5-1 victory by the Detroit Red Wings over the Chicago Blackhawks. Fantastic bounce back, appropriate response. We'll get into all that here in segment one. And
it was an appropriate response.
It was appropriate. Like that's
appropriate.
We talked about it. That's what you have to come out and do against the Chicago Blackhawks team
in appropriate fashion.
Appropriate fashion. As we come. You got me thrown off. And then we'll obviously talk about individual performances because there's a lot of individual performances in this game to be had. So that's segment 1 and 2. Segment 3, we will cover the preview of the Montreal Canadiens game that'll take place at 7 on Saturday. So, Scotty, to lead things off, again, appropriate response to the loss against the New York Rangers against the Chicago Blackhawks. What'd you make of this game, buddy?
I was a very appropriate hockey game. I think
as opposed to inappropriate, right?
That was just a funny word choice. It's accurate though. I think that it's so nice. We were talking about a little bit off air before we hit record here, but like it's so nice to just have games like be at a point. Even we're obviously we're not world beaters. No one's thinking. Like Lord Stanley is coming to the Motor City this year necessarily, but like
we're not.
It's calm down, but like it's one of those things where it's so nice to be at a point where there are games you can look at on the schedule and go, okay, this is a win, and then have it actually happen and like be comfortable, right? Like that feeling has escaped us over the years, right? Like that's you reach a certain point in your team build, right? And as you continue to get better and better and hopefully rise out of the rebuild, and you stop becoming like the worst team in the NHL. And then you stop becoming the team that all the better teams beat up on, and you're kind of just like fighting with other teams that are at the bottom. And then you hit a certain point as you continue moving forward where you are just like objectively much better than some teams and you just take care of business. And that's just a feeling that I've missed, like genuinely, and not even like just with the Red Wings, really with all 4 of these teams. Like I've just very, very, very much missed. And obviously like the Pistons are going through what they're going through right now. Like
they're the team that teams take care of business.
Right. Like we
right
should
now.
Not take for granted, just like being the better team, having a low stress hockey game, like a low stress victory. And it wasn't without its chippiness, but like as far like they were in command, even when it was 1-1, like you were like, okay, that was kind of a weird goal. Like we've been clearly the better team this entire game. And at no point did it ever feel like the Blackhawks ever had even a remote chance in this one.
Yeah. And I think that is a sentiment that I echo, that this was a game where at no point was I actually worried the Red Wings were going to lose this game or blow this out. And like you said, it's a nice feeling to have. I mean, even in previous years, obviously you go back a few too many years and the Red Wings are that team, right?
Yeah.
They're the team that opposing teams come in and they're like, this is our get right game. This is our, easy 2 points. There's no easy 2 points in the NHL. In fact, credit where credit's due. I thought Chicago, for what it's worth, played very good in this hockey game. I mean, this is a roster.
Credit for anything ever, but like I don't disagree with you.
Well, I'm like organizationally, we can think what we want to think, but this is a team full of young kids that have lost their top scorers outside of Bedard. Like Taylor Hall is out for the year. Athanasiou was hurt. Corey Perry just got his contract terminated. Like this is a team that is almost entirely made of teenagers and early 20 guys.
Yeah.
The fact that they have like I think, what, 7 wins on the season or something along those lines.
7-14, I think. After
Yeah. They continually play up to their opponents. I thought they did a good job of playing up to the Red Wings in this game. They even outshot the Red Wings in this game. But you're right. At no point in this game did I feel like I was concerned the Red Wings were going to lose this game. And that's a good feeling, especially coming off of a really frustrating loss the day before in New York. There was a little bit coming into tonight, a little bit of that curiosity is like, could this end up being a trap game? And then as soon as the puck dropped, as soon as they got shorthanded and they scored that goal, that worry went away. And like you said, even though they tied it up immediately, like that was never a concern. I was like, it's only a matter of time. And it was. And that Fabbri comes down the ice and in highlight reel fashion, puts them up 2-1.
As Mickey Redmond said, he left his equipment, a piece of equipment somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. Not to say that this was like a perfect game either. It was a really good game by the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Again, you got outshot by the Blackhawks, which is one of the cellar dwellers in the league. I mean, there's a cellar dweller, then there's a team that exists in the Earth's core, and that's the San Jose Sharks. But the Blackhawks are going to be vying for that #1 overall pick again. They're going to be a lottery team, and they hung with you. And I think that has more to say about these kids on the Blackhawks than it does against the Red Wings, because, again, I never really felt threatened. And I also think it has a lot to do with the type of system the Red Wings run. They're not a volume team. When it comes to shots, they're a quality team. They like to try and stifle you defensively in the defensive zone, and that's the lone system. And talking about identity too, identity after Gostisbehere said it in a media availability coming back from Sweden, that Larkin had the guys in the locker room and told them, like, we have to figure out what kind of team we want to become, because they had been so inconsistent in that stretch. And since then, it feels like, Scotty, you can really see that identity forming in these 5 game sets, even including a frustrating Rangers game. Like, it feels like you're finally seeing this identity. And that identity is a team that tries to keep high danger chances low, gives up a lot of shots, but quality of shots is low, and then tries to score off the rush, score on the power play. And it's nice to finally see a direction on the ice and not just in the prospect pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that I say this a lot when I talk about all of these teams, is like, no good team has ever not had an identity, right? And like, that's a very important part of whether it's schematic or personality or, et cetera, et cetera. Like, every good team ever has had an identity. And I really appreciate, again, like we've been talking, they've won 4 of their last 5 now. Like, that's obviously a really good stretch of hockey here immediately after we were like, hey, should we be worried? Which is just very fitting and on brand. But it's one of those, I think you said it perfectly there at the beginning. Like, this is not a team, the Red Wings are not a team that are going to prevent a ton of shots when you look at like the shots on goal number at the end of the night, but they will try, if everything's going to plan, at least they will mitigate the quality shot attempts against. And like, that's a very, very like they'll push you to the outside. They'll let you, get your opportunities where you're just trying to get a shot on net and just trying to like make something happen. And Alex Lyon has been so good at preventing rebounds, and we'll talk about him more in a second, but like, we've highlighted this a few times. The reason why he is working so well in this system right now is because he's not allowing rebounds. And this team is very much in, again, like, the defense is in the mode of like, we're fine if you just, flick the wrist and try to throw up a shot on net, because you're not going to get a rebound and you're not going to get a quality chance. And I think that that's kind of like the goalie and the defense are both kind of playing into each other very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about Alex Lyon, and it's not just about preventing rebounds, it's about controlling rebounds. Like, when you give up a rebound,
that's a much better way to put it.
Redirecting it into a area that's not going to immediately give a scoring chance. Because that's a big part about goalie skill sets that a lot of people who, I mean, many people do understand this, but there's plenty who don't. Goalies are also trained to control where the rebound goes off their pads or off their paddle. And Alex Lyon has done such a good job if he doesn't think he's going to be able to corral this rebound, to make sure he redirects it towards the boards or towards the corner, not immediately right back out into the slot for a secondary chance. He's been just such a rock in 4 games. And I mean, this is a guy that when we were going through our goalie troubles a couple weeks ago, I was like, and if you think Alex Lyon is going to be the solution, I got bad news. He's been across his career a third stringer, and it's very possible through 4 games he's just riding a hot streak. But we saw what Alex Lyon in a hot streak can do last year with the Florida Panthers. He carried them to the playoffs single-handedly almost. And so he's through 4 games, he's making me eat my words. This is the back-to-back 30-plus save shutout, or not shutout, sorry, 30-plus save performance for Alex Lyon with a 16-save shutout the game before. He has been so rock solid for the Detroit Red Wings that if I'm Derek Lalonde, and in Ville Husso's credit, in the 2 games since he's come back, he's been very good as well. Also, back-to-back 30-plus save performances, I believe, for him. But if I'm Derek Lalonde, like, I'm building confidence again in my goalie tandem, something that I didn't have literally 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Scotty, and I do think that the goaltending across the season is probably still going to be the biggest problem because, you know, Alex Lyon, I think he's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be 975 save percentage good for the rest of his career or the rest of his season when the league save percentage is, I don't know, 904 or whatever Ken Daniels said during the broadcast. But I think that Alex Lyon can be your solid backup, if not your 1B candidate. And if he continues playing this well, he might push for that 1A. Like, he's just been so good in this 4-game stretch that I'm excited to see what he can bring us across the rest of the season.
Agreed.
We got to take a quick break, and when we return, we got more players to talk about because this is one of those games where we give a lot of kudos out because a lot of great performances that have been building off of previously great performances across many other games. So we'll get into that in segment 2. Stay tuned to Locked On Red Wings. Got to talk to you guys today about FanDuel. As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty, we got a slew of other players we want to talk about. You can see them here on our show sheet, on today's show sheet on YouTube. Primarily, Clean Costin, JT Compher, and Robby Fabbri are the ones that stand out most, but we can go down the list, honestly, once we get closer to the end. Scotty, who do you want to lead off with of these characters?
The dog.
Got it. So you want to talk Jeff Petrie?
Clean Costin is my hero. I might order the jersey. It might be over.
You're such a sap.
I am. I really am. My type is just so predictable, but he is incredible. He's the love of my life, and I just appreciate everything about him. He's been absolutely fantastic in his role over the last couple of games. I was upset they tossed him, but like
he was only a 10-minute misconduct. He came back in the third, I believe. I'm pretty sure I saw him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Off rip, I thought they were going to toss him.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes.
Great, man.
Yeah, he's
great.
Listen, and we talk a lot.
He smells blood, and
we talk a lot about what this team needed in the offseason. And obviously, we'll keep saying it, the one thing this team needed was goal scoring. And Steve Yzerman has done a wonderful job addressing that. Speaking of which, DeBrincat's got to find the back of the net here soon. The guy fires like 20 shots every single game. Yeah. I swear to God, he's just cannot find the back of the net. It's incredible. He's just firing the puck. He had 6 shots in this game. But anyways, we're talking about Clean Costin. Clean Costin, one of the biggest things this team needed was an edge. And I thought the Red Wings had made an effort to address it the season prior with signings like Ben Sherratt. You had Tyler Bertuzzi on this team. You had Giovanni Smith on this team, who, by the way, took a nasty boarding call, I think, against Marchand in the Bruins Sharks game earlier that day.
Yeah. That is forever the dog. I got that jersey in the rafters, all right, in my closet, all right, for real.
When the Red Wings acquired Klim Kostin at the draft, I was underwhelmed. I didn't know anything about the guy. I knew who Kyler Yamamoto was, Red Wings legend. And I thought he was just a throw-in. It turns out Yamamoto was a throw-in, and that Kostin was the guy that the Red Wings had wanted because he's huge, he's physical, and you know what's also nice? Having a guy who's gritty, who's also not completely useless on the ice.
He is not a traffic cone out there, man. He's got pretty nice hands. He's nice.
He's got nice hands. He's got a good shot. Like when he's out there with the fourth line, like that fourth line right now, with Kostin and what, or not, he is Kostin, Fisher, and I think what Rasmussen? No, Sprong. Sorry, Sprong.
Yeah, well, Ras as well. I mean, we've gotten the blender so much. Ras as well too. Yeah,
like that fourth line's actually really fun to watch. They're a fourth line that will consistently out hustle whatever line they're matched up against. Yeah. You know, they're not getting like the super dangerous scoring chances, but they're not giving up a ton defensively. Like they are tough to play against. They're fun to watch, and Kostin's a big part of that because he's a big physical presence who's not afraid to stand up for his teammates. And the soft hands are a nice touch as well. So it's one of those things. Like he is such a player. He is a player that this team needed so badly last season. And yesterday's game against the Rangers completely warranted reaction on his part. Like Gostisbehere got creamed from behind. Yeah. Like that was an illegal hit. This game, that was a clean hit on Andrew Copp, but he got rocked.
It was a clean hit, and I don't care.
But that's exactly what I said. Because regardless, and part of me doesn't like that the NHL has kind of headed in the direction of like every big hit, regardless of clean or dirty, needs a response. But it is the direction the NHL is heading. And if that is the direction, you need a guy like Kostin to stand up for your teammates. Because last year, this team got bullied so much because we didn't have a guy like Kostin. And to Seider's credit, he will stand up. But Seider's also far too talented to be sitting in the box for 18 minutes a night like he did the other night.
Yeah, it's also just about like stifling momentum, man. Like how many times have we watched hockey and, you know, a couple of big hits and there you go. Like the barn is buzzing, you're on the road, like and you know, this and obviously the Wings were home tonight, but like that it's something that this team really has lacked the last couple of years. I'm last year specifically, I'm really glad that he's a Red Wing, and I think he's already very quickly becoming a fan favorite here.
He's got the intangibles, as they would put it. He's been really. It's really reassuring to see him on the ice when somebody gets rocked because you know he's going to make teams think twice.
Yeah.
About.
Even when he's not on the ice, I feel like he's a guy that, you know, 2 shifts later I'll meet you outside. You know what I'm saying?
it really makes it tough.
He's got a long memory.
Because pretty soon here, when Patrick Kane's healthy to start playing hockey with the Detroit Red Wings, he's going to make some tough decisions on who to scratch. And I know Klim is going to typically be your option because he doesn't bring he isn't a traffic cone. He is a good fourth line winger. He also does factually probably bring the least offensively, and I think it's going to be a rotation of 4 to get that scratch, and because it's going to be tough, and that's a good problem to have. Absolutely great problem to have.
That means you have a deep team.
Anyways, a ton of other players to get to. That's our
Compher for president of the United States. How about that?
They don't call him 1-800-GOALS now for.
They don't call. Everybody calls him that, and they don't call him that for nothing. All right, that's the most common nickname in sports. Everybody calls him that.
I think that 22 games played now for JT Compher. That gives him 19 points on the season. That's 6 goals, 13 assists. It's really funny that is his nickname, and because he's more of a playmaker, anyways. But I guess you could dish the goals now as well. Doesn't necessarily mean
that was bad. Let's move on. He's really good though. He's really good at his job, and we've talked about it now a few games in a row because he continues to stand out. But he is so sound defensively. He is such a good passer, and now he's finding the back of the net, and it's just a perfect storm. And he is in absolute fuego.
I really thought he was going to get a hat trick in this game, and it would have been perfect if he scored at 5-on-5. Yeah, because he would have had a goal on the power play, shorthanded, and at 5-on-5 for the Hattie. Right. I mean, and it was a great look by Andrew Copp too. He had an awful game against the Rangers. He had a much better game in this one as well. Great look by Copp to just float it over the defender's stick to JT Compher, who then just floated it above Mrazek's shoulder into the back of the net. And then on the power play, you know, it's just nice having a guy who can do both. I mean, this is a guy who you can put. And obviously he's playing on the power play first unit because Larkin's out. And by the way, adding to the list of reasons why we love JT Compher, and besides just the point totals, the fact that he has slid into the 1C role and looked comfortable, even good at times, is crazy to me. That top line tonight, even yesterday against the Rangers, or 2 days ago by the time people are listening to this, Compher, Raymond, and DeBrincat, we're producing opportunities. And even more so, obviously, against a lesser team like the Blackhawks, they looked really good out there. JT Compher is proving worth every single cent that you're paying him. And he can do it at 5-on-5. He can do it on the power play. He can do it on the penalty kill. Like, just, he has been just worth his weight in gold. So good.
Absolutely. And like they showed the graphic tonight. I know you've referenced it a couple of times. He has like objectively been one of the best free agent signings in the entire NHL. Yeah. And he was a guy that when the signing first happened, everyone, this fan base included, this show included, was like, it's kind of a lot of money. And he's been worth every penny so far.
And I mean, we were really cautious about it because we just signed a 2C the year before in Andrew Kopp and had a lackluster year. Granted, we gave him a mulligan on the first year because of the core surgery, but we were cautious because we didn't want to do that again. We didn't want to get burned. And he's come in for the Red Wings and just been what you would honestly, better than what we were hoping.
Yeah.
He's been great. I mean, it feels definitively like the Red Wings have found their 2C for the foreseeable future until Nate Danielson and or Marco Kasper prove that they earned that spot over him.
Sure.
But for the time being, he is your 2C, and it's great. He's just so good. Anyways, we have to take another break. But Scotty, when we return, we'll talk about Robby Fabbri. And then we'll talk about the game against Montreal Canadiens. That's Saturday at 7:00. So stay tuned to segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities, and who knows, maybe JT Compher breaks his personal best and scores 60 points with the Detroit Red Wings, averaging close to point per game. Nothing's impossible, just like your Red Wings could be hoisting the Stanley Cup if things keep going this way. And you could win big by playing Daily Fantasy Hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is the #1 choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick whether studs like Quinn Hughes, Luke Hughes, Jack Hughes. Is that all the three? That's all three brothers, right? I got them all.
Well, there is another one, but he's not a brother. Yes.
Okay. Cale Makar. Just any of them will record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus, minus, and more in a given game. To win a 100-time bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8-player stats. You heard me, Red Wings fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So you start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKDOWNNHL and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty, would you say that game by Robby Fabbri was appropriate?
I think if there was one word I had to pin down to describe it, I think it would be appropriate.
He was great in this game, man. Absolutely.
Fantastic. What is that? Excuse me. Jeez, that's 2 episodes in a row I've choked on air. Jeez. How many goals is that now? Is that
9, 7, and 10? 7 and 10. Yep.
I think it was 5 and 9 last night, and obviously 2 tonight. Unbelievable, man. And like he has such fantastic hands. Like he has such soft hands. It's so impressive watching him go out there. I'm so excited for him. I'm so happy for him. I continue to wish him, a clean bill of health, just so that we can truly see, like what he can do here over a full season. And yeah, this run, this season in general has been fantastic.
Ansar Khan tweeting this 37 minutes ago, but I'm just seeing it now as we're recording because I try not to look at my phone and pay attention to you. Derek Lalonde said he expects Larkin back in the lineup Saturday against Montreal.
Great.
So great sign. I wonder what that means because he was on the active non-roster. which meant Kane could be activated. So somebody's going to have to be, oh, well, Berggren, duh.
Yeah, Berger, right?
Yeah, that sucks for Berger. I really want to see more out of him. He had an assist in the game against the Rangers. Nice little assist for Robby Fabbri's goal against the Rangers, who, again, like you were saying, has been great since he's come back from injury. And that's exactly it, right? And we talked about it in yesterday's game. We touched on it. Yesterday's game was such a mixed bag. There was so much to break down. We could only really touch on every given topic. But Robby Fabbri, when he's healthy, is, dare I say, a game changer. Like, he is just...
Certainly has been this year.
So whenever he's healthy, he just finds the puck in the back of the net. And I griped about, his lack of defensive responsibility, but that kind of comes with the territory of any guy who's a goal scorer. I mean, DeBrincat's been well known for it. Patrick Kane, throughout his career, has been known for his defensive liability. But when you're a goal scorer and you outscore any potential liability you may have, I mean, who really cares at that point? So, and I mean, I do care, but like, there's a scale, right? And Robby Fabbri is right now producing at such a clip that he has been invaluable to the Red Wings middle six. Two goals tonight, one of which was a highlight reel goal. And Prashant Iyer said it. He's like, I don't know the last time I saw a Red Wings score a highlight reel goal like that.
That was nasty.
Yeah.
Like, nasty.
Honest to God, like, I'm trying to think. I mean, Dylan Larkin's had a couple where he's just like streaked on the ice, gotten past a defender and buried it. But when it comes to nasty move around a defender and then a nasty move on a goaltender, Thomas Tatar going end to end, Gustav Nyquist circling around the defensive or offensive zone in overtime. Like, when was the last time we saw a goal like that? And then, of course, lucky bounce came right to him and he buried it on the power play. It's just, when he is healthy, he brings such a scoring punch to that middle six, and it's needed on this team. I mean, you just look at the offensive depth that this team has right now. Like, I was thinking about this. Patrick Kane, once he's healthy, and if he's healthy, right? Like, that's still a big question mark, although my confidence is building it with every consecutive interview. I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid on the Patrick Kane health. The power play, man, has so much dangerous potential, right? And the power play I do think power play struggled again at like zone entries and whatnot. They did go 2 for 4 in this game. You think about the lethality that this power play has. I mean,
the what?
Lethality.
Lethality? Nice.
Yeah, thanks. I think that was
lethality, baby. What an appropriate word choice, Brian.
Appropriate adjective. Every once in a while, man, there's stuff rattling up in here. Don't
said that. I went, did we just drop a lethality? Nice.
But I mean, Dylan Larkin, Alex DeBrincat, Lucas Raymond, David Perron on the power plays is a sniper. Robby Fabbri can slide in on there. And on the defense side, you got Gostisbehere, Sider, Woolman. Like, and then, of course, adding Patrick Kane to the mix is only going to make it better. Hell, Sprong even. Like, there's just... You could legitimately, I said it as like a bold take at the start of the season, having a top 10 power play. But if this power play continues to just add scorers, it actually might not be a bold take.
Yeah.
They went cold for a while, but they're finding the back of the net now.
Right. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so, man. Yeah. This has been a really fun and good, solid stretch of hockey these last 5 games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to complain about 4 wins in 5 games. Just
absolutely.
They're 12-7-3. I think they're technically in 4th in the Atlantic Division because of the tiebreaker with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who currently hold on to 3rd. That's another thing. Both Florida and Tampa did win tonight, so you're chasing them. You kept pace. Luckily, Tampa, who's right beneath you, lost, so you gained 2 points on them, as well as I think Buffalo ended up losing. I don't know for sure. Of course, Boston won against the San Jose Sharks, but we're not really worrying about
Buffalo's
chasing them.
losing in the 3rd as we record this.
Okay. So, but Buffalo's down there right now, in 6th place, I believe, tied for 6th with the Montreal Canadiens.
What a transition! You're really on a roll today, bud.
We're cruising. This is peak Brian right now.
Wow. Your wife was so lucky.
She is. She really is.
She is. You want to talk about the Habs, or you want to talk about you being at your peak performance right now?
Let's talk about the Habs. The vibes are high tonight, guys. The vibes are high.
Let's do it. Yeah, man. I mean, this is obviously this is not like. I feel like there was a conception, I mean, maybe it's fair to call it a misconception at this point in the season that the Habs were going to be like
a cellar dweller.
Yeah, like one of the bottom teams in the NHL. And while they certainly are not going to make the playoffs, and they'll probably water will find its level, and they'll probably end up being seventh or still very real chance of eighth in this division. There's some talent on that team. There's some young talent on that team. We've been talking about this for like 7-8 months, to be honest, how like the Habs, take advantage of the wins against the Habs now, like this season and maybe probably next season still as well, because there's going to be a point where they're looking eye to eye with you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a team, and there may have been a misconception. I think we both said they would finish 8th, but we also said that this isn't a team you should look past either. And I maintain that into this game. You lost in overtime. The Red Wings lost in overtime. The first time these two teams faced off, they're like a more talented Blackhawks. And I don't mean that as a slight. Like, they're a team that plays up to its competition. And Marty St. Louis has been fantastic as their head coach. He's been great at making sure he gets the most out of these kids every single night. Nick Suzuki is 18 points in 22.
I love watching him play hockey, man. Genuinely.
He's such a player that was slept on every team he's been with. And
seriously, he's he's easily in my top 5 or 10, just favorite players to watch in the league.
Yeah. Cole Caulfield also 18 for 22. He's I shouldn't say finally, he found his stride last year.
No, for sure.
But he's becoming
you remember the draft night, the Caulfield draft night drama? That was a draft night, let me tell you.
Remember when he got sent down to the AHL squad because he wasn't performing, and the AHL team chirped him, and then he turned it on, came back to the Canadiens, was their best player. Crazy. Mike Matheson, 17 and 22. So they got guys who are flirting with a point per game. This isn't a team that you can just think you're going to roll into on Saturday.
This very much reminds me of that not same timeline or anything, but just in terms of how you beat them. It's very similar to remember the era of the Red Wings where it was Larkin, Mantha, and Burt were producing, but if they didn't produce, the Wings got shut out.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what this room, they have guys that can produce. They just don't have the depth at all yet.
It's top line. That's
right. If you shut down the talent at the top, you'll shut down the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm trying to look up real quick because I didn't have it ready because I'm a dummy. Their power play. So their power play ranks 23rd in the league right now, 16.7%, while their penalty kill is ranked. Where are you at, buddy? 27th. So their special teams is not that great, where you're the Red Wings. As the Red Wings, your penalty kill is middle of the pack, and your power play is after tonight, it might be back in the top 10. In fact, it is. It's 8th before tonight's game is qualified. So, is a team you shut down their top line, you take advantage of their special teams, and you should be able to win this game comfortably. But as the Canadiens have already proven once this season, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this really quickly, 27th in goals for a game, 27th in goals against a game, 28th in goal differential a game, 23rd in the power play, 27th in the PK, 15th in save percentage, even though it's 898, 15th.
And that is a big part of what's carrying their performance right now.
For sure. The Wings up to 11th, by the way, in save percentage, and 5th in the faceoff circle, by the way. The Habs, 5th.
Well, and the Red Wings, I believe, struggle in the faceoff circle.
They're 21st.
Yes. But against, not to rewind too much, they were dominant in the faceoff circle against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Sure,
and they blocked 15 shots, another cap or feather in the cap of the way they play defense.
For sure. For sure.
Back to Montreal. Sorry. Just wanted.
No, that's pretty much all I had. This is a game that, again, you should win, not as much of a gimme as the Blackhawks, but I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care if they're the worst team in the NHL or the Boston Bruins. You got to show up in interdivision games, man. This is one you got to have for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to shot attempts, they give up the 6th most shot attempts in the league, while only taking. They are the 20th in the league in shot attempts 4. So even when you factor in the pucks that don't make the net, they're not very highly ranked.
Yeah.
What's carrying them is absolutely that top line and their goaltending, which has been very good. Montembeault has a 911 save percentage this season, which is 910 save percentage, which is fantastic. This year, Jake Allen, their backup, 9 games. They're carrying a tandem of 3, by the way, just like the Red Wings, because they also don't want to give a goalie to Tampa Bay, who actually that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Vasilevsky's back. So I wonder if this is just like a new trend in the NHL. I don't know. But Jake Allen has a 903 save percentage. Caden Primo has an 886 save percentage. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did we see Primo in that first game between the two teams?
I do not remember. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning.
I actually have that game right here. I can double check. I'm pretty sure we saw Caden Primo.
I believe you.
Yes, we did. And he made 27 of 29 saves against the Red Wings. So
right.
That tracks. But like, and again, I'm not trying to make it seem like the Canadians are like secretly a Stanley Cup contender. They're 6-5-2. They're 6th in the Atlantic Division, but they're
just trying to say their stuff. They're still bottom 5 to 7 in most stats. Yeah.
But they're, like I said, they're a more talented Chicago Blackhawks in that they play up to their competition and they have some talent on that team to steal some of those games. So don't let them steal a second game from you this season, especially as it's a divisional game. So a lot added importance.
Agreed.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I just want to give credit to like everything surrounding the game tonight as well. Like the stand up to cancer. I don't even want to call it event is not the right word, but that was like the promo for the game tonight. And I just thought everything went so well. Right. Yeah. The hat there. I thought Bally did a great job. I thought the Detroit Red Wings did a great job. The puck drop was like awesome. That's a tearjerker right there. That kid rocks. Everything was just awesome. And so obviously great win, great night on the ice, but it was I just thought everything involved in that was awesome too. And seeing that throughout the night is just a great thing that a lot of teams in the NHL do. So
yeah, I mean, we give the NHL a lot of crap for some of the things they do or say or don't do. But Hockey Fights Cancer is one of the things that they get right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, cancer cancer sucks. It's brutal. I think everyone at least knows somebody. I know somebody. I've known a couple people who have gone through the battles with cancer, some successfully and unfortunately some not successfully. And it blows. So Hockey Fights Cancer Night, it deserves all the saying fanfare sounds weird, but all the support and all the pregame and all the just drumming up at all the awareness as much as possible, because it is an illness that blows. It just sucks. I thought everyone did a great job in seeing, seeing the kids out there. It was good. It was a good event, good night. Everything positive all around. They got some good interviews and everything. I just thought everyone involved handled it really, really well. So yeah. All right. Great game.
Great game.
Great event.
Night, great vibes.
Good
See you
vibes.
Monday, baby.
See you Monday. We ball. Right. Correct. Same time, same place. It's your team
every day.
Every day. Thank God Scotty didn't get a chance to talk about my Spotify Wrapped this time.
Monday, baby.